Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. I thought I'd do a quick video on setting up your boat ready for your first mission. Please bear in mind that this footage is pre-alpha, so it's backers footage, so it's subject to change without notification. And at the moment it's on version B105, and that's for the 10th of April 2019. The tutorial and sandbox I do believe will become one, so I'm just going to give you a demonstration on what it is at the moment. So I'm going to click sandbox. Units you can have as metric, mixed or nautical. Darker nights, realistic bilge. Be careful when you select these. So darker nights is use the option to make nights darker. Use or flashlights and searchlights may be mandatory in exterior areas. Realistic bilge. Use this option ensures realistic gathering of water in bilges, e.g. the sources like holes of the propellers and the periscopes located in the hull, or rain coming through an open hatch in the conning tower. Realistic earth curvature, smoke on the horizon and other things like that. And manual item delivery is if you use this option you will have to manually equip an engineer with a spare part and a medic with a first aid kit. But we're just going to go straight into sandbox mode and prepare the boat for the first outing, and I will show you how I do that, and I will do it on try and get it done in under 5 minutes and explain it as I go along. So the first thing I'm literally going to do is go to the man here that's loading the torpedoes, and I'm going to add 2 additional men to his crew. I'm going to come over to here, and I don't really need anybody else doing anything at this stage, and the reason why you want the individuals over here loading the torpedoes is when you go to the warehouse up here, you go to the shop, click on show me what you've got, and you will see when I click the torpedoes here that we have 1 space for available torpedoes. That's because that individual is now loading 4 torpedoes, so there will be more gaps here in a moment. So food, we're looking at 80 food. One of the first things I want to do is just have a look and move over 20 food. I always aim to hover around, I mean it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. Always hover to be around about 100 food before I leave. I am going to refuel the boat based on fuel. Items we don't need at the moment. Equipment is okay. Food, ammunition, we've got plenty of fuel, and there you go, the second torpedo has now been loaded. So while he's loading the torpedoes, our food is now ready. We can come over to the leading officer, click your captain down here, he says, click on the leading officer. Are there any orders from Admiralty? This then brings you up your mission area. Entirely up to you what mission you select at this stage, whether you want to go low, medium or high. Also there are espionage missions, patrol missions, and I'm sure other missions will come at some point. So we select, we now have our mission, so we can go whenever we like, but this young man here is still loading the torpedoes just for the sake of speed. Show me what you've got, take a look. We can now go into torpedoes, and you can see that he's now picked up. Again, entirely up to you whether you get the T1 or the T2. So I'm cheap as chips, so I'm going to load the T1s and click exit and goodbye. There we go. I'll just let that continue to load because I think that's really good. Hats off to the developers for that animation. It's quite impressive. He'll move on to the next torpedo, which is here. There it is. Just pulled it out. Entirely up to you whether you just kind of let them load all the torpedoes, or you do what I'm doing and just wait a moment. back to your torpedoes. There's the fourth one. T1, we can put that in, and as soon as he's finished loading that, again, he will go to the stern of the boat, and he will use the load this torpedo here, so you can move the final stern torpedo, and your boat is good to go. So you've refueled it, you've got about 100 food on the boat. He's just loading the torpedoes. The next thing I would suggest you do is take any one of these that's playing cards, take them to the storage room here, move over to the galley, and you'll see that it's just cheese. Okay, we can only have an additional 10 kilo in here. Just click transfer and click yes, and he will come down and he will then start to move that item from the storage into the galley. And what that does is, up here you will see up here that it's normal lighting, base +3. Once he's moved the items over, he's just moving those now, so that animation is just completing. You'll see that this single arrow here will go to 2 or 3 arrows, and because, there you go, what's happened is you are now having varied dishes, which gives the crew a massive boost in morale. Same again, take the same individual back to the storage room here, click on ventilation, and what you want to do is move the potassium absorbers into the ventilation area. Click transfer, and is your order to carry the potassium absorbers to ventilation? Yes, it is. And you'll see that what he's going to do is he's going to load that. Bear in mind, the next time you only get potassium absorbers is you have to do missions and research to do that. I'll give you a quick demonstration on how to do research. But once that's moved over to there, you can see now that this fellow has nearly completed loading the torpedo in the rear of the boat too. So we can go back to the warehouse and pick up our final torpedo. How you do that is up to you, whether you want to move the potassium absorbers first or whether you want to load first. As I said, the rear one becomes empty, so just grab another torpedo. We've spent all our money. You know, entirely up to you how you do that, whether you want to load all your torpedoes first, pick up your food, up to you. But as far as I can see now, the boat is good to go. We've got our mission, we've got 100 food, we've got our potassium absorbers in, the crew are happy, and with that, just press when you're good to go. Diesel motors, forward 1, and there we go, we've undocked and we're now heading out on our first mission. I hope you found that guide really useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care until then. Hope you're doing fantastic. Goodbye now.